So as you can see, I've cut up all my beef, and these nuggets are browning slowly in small quantity so they can get cooked more evenly and harshly. Just have to give them one turn usually, and then try not to do that with the pan, you know. See the difference in color? These are brown, these are gray pink. We want it brown. It's not from burned butter, it's from burned fat. Because the fat also turns brown like the butter. But when fat and butter combine in brownness, it generates a density of brown that's quite appealing. So, this will be our done beef. Let's say this beef is done. And I know I said I was going to do this in small batches, but I'm getting worried about this cooling down. By the time, oh shit, the restaurant, I almost just burned my toes. Poor toes would have died. Okay, so beef now goes in. And we kept as little of the blood in it as possible. And we don't want to get blood mixed with flour every time, because that causes congeal. So we'll use this clear blood, which comes from different organic components, through a fucking tube, because of those meat chute vacuum cleaner ass AC units. Vacuum tube meat chutes out there. Okay, so here we go. Just get the blood off as quickly as possible so it doesn't congeal. Then go back to work. You don't have to spend 3 times as long washing later. Oh no, my napkins are flying away. Napkins on the table flew away. Nothing to do but finish my beef nuggets. I'm expecting a nuclear attack to stop me from finishing these. They're gonna be so yummy. They'll bomb me with a nuke to get my beef nuggets and invade with holograms. They can't even eat that shit. It's so backwards. No one ever gets what they're looking for. Let's switch hands here because I'm right hand dominant. And this is gonna be this is harder than filming. And I'll try one of these to make sure they're cooked through. Yummy. Great by itself, should be even better fried. And it's already like an 11 out of 10 by itself. These steaks are so flavorful and savory. And incredibly tender and chewy. See how all the pink is gone now? That's what you're looking for. Nice brown color, no pink. So wherever the pink touches the black, it turns brown. You have to rotate your pieces to get the pink to turn brown. Sadly, it's being used on my skin by this guy too, because I'm a beef nugget for he who art in heaven. All these are unstoppably irresistible. And we don't want to rush the recipe. These need about a minute longer to cook. Took their color and cooked their fuller. While we're waiting for that, I'll put away the display I set up for what ingredients go in it. It's always great to see another man's fridge, huh? These fridges are interesting houses for everything you want. Not much going on in here anymore. I don't have the strawberry candy ethic that I used to. I'm trying to cook more grown-up adult foods, whereas before I was literally role-playing a man-child. It's everything a kid would want, but like a man demanding it from himself as a worker. So like trying to live a simple childish life as a grown-up. That's about where you want to do with your life, because kids are smart. Just think about how unjust the world seemed as a kid, and it was always the parents making it unjust for you. So why would you want to emulate them in old age if you didn't have a family and stuff telling you what to do? You wouldn't. That's what's important about child's play. Okay, we'll set these here. And we're gonna need this plate to be dry so we can set out the meat nuggets when they're done cooking. Good knife. Good little well-behaved knife. I'm proud of you, knife. So if you want to act out and be naughty for a day, cut loose. I know my pride predicates your misbehavior. You get a couple of rolls of these, you'll be fine. Just pull off the dotted line, which is mystically, magically blooming at all times because the fertility center uses napkins as substrates for birthing projects. And the governor promised me yesterday he would put those guys out of business because they're offering false hope and generating a lot of death and waste and gruesome monstrosities out of their fertility center, worse than your standard sci-fi movie monster brigade. It's like Eternal Bloom, man. Okay, so now we heat the oil. Better to keep the handle from sticking out, huh? Like that. If the handle's sticking that way, it's good. If it's like coming out to here, it's bad because you might hit it and then it would fall over. There's things you learn from previous beef nuggeting experiments to make the perfect beef nugget. Okay. Clean this up a little. Just temporarily move these to here so we can place our plate here and our pre-battered beef here. So what can we do now? Is this gonna start bubbling, or am I gonna have to go crazy? It's not gonna get hot real quick because I put a lot of fucking oil in there, man. I put like 4 cups of oil in here. How's that for rice? So, like we said, we've got 330 for the mac and cheese. And within 3 minutes and 30 seconds, the oil should be hot enough. So we'll give it 330. Because once it gets hot, it's not likely to cool back down with the heat on. The micro batch of beef tastes better than the major batch. But like I said, it would take too long for my video length on my cooking channel. I thought I was going to be doing like media design. Instead, I got a cooking channel going there. And if you're like OG Koreatown Chinese like me, from the old POW camps in Korea during the Korean and Vietnamese American wars, fielded by military might against children and women and honest men on both sides. Some of them fielding and others wielding against weaklings. Okay, so here's a test nugget. Dip in the ranch egg. Dip in the flour. The very good quality flour that's been aerated with the sieve. And this is going to be our test nugget. Once this thing fries, we'll know the oil is hot enough. But it's probably just going to float there. Yeah, see, not even close to hot enough. It's been heating since that says 122. It's been heating for about 3 minutes. That's slow oil. Or a weak burner. And when you pull them out, you can pull them out with your tongs, but this makes it easier in large quantities. It's another object to clean, honestly. I would prefer to do with tongs. But I'm trying to make this special. I think like the number of implements you use and the number of cooking processes that you include in your recipe really manages and changes the flavor almost as much as the ingredient quality. So obviously if you boil something, that's fine. But if you boil it and then deep fry it, that's even better. So it's up to like 3 or 4 processes, because sometimes the foods from the store come pre-processed. Otherwise you would have like 4 or 5. Slicing counts as a method of cooking. Microwaving, baking, broiling, braising, sometimes sifting, mixing. Like every process you do alters the flavor of your food. So if you want to learn from your food what happened to it with your tongue sort of like loses the ability to guess, and the flavor becomes muddy after a large number of methods are implemented. So here's our mac, and now we're gonna tear this bad boy open. He's not a bad boy. I'm sorry, Velveeta, you're a good boy. I just have no cooking morals. And squeeze it in there. This is like the best easy cheese on the planet. It's better than the stuff from the cans. If I knew it was up, I'd make mac and cheese with whipped cream. Alright, so that's all mixed up. Now we can let it cool so it doesn't burn our mouths. And is this nugget floating yet? It's starting to move on its own. That's a sign that the oil is hot enough. But we want it to float when it's boiling. Once it gets to a rolling boil with floating, that means the oil is ready for a full load. And I'm just gonna go like auto mechanical on these, like grab, dunk, roll, deposit, lift, dry. Be right back. Actually, considering the difficulty of this task, I'm not going to stop my camera. Because I just got hit by an airplane. I told you beef nuggets are impossible. Can you hear the airplane sound in the sky? Either an airplane or a car racing on an above ground highway that's too high for us to see. It happens a lot around here since we're crammed in a triple stack highway. Interacting with a triple stack highway, interacting with a train, interacting with 4 city corners. Because this is such an ancient land. It's been run over by corner mayors for a long time. Corner connections on like maps are the best they can do. They're obviously mixing chess with spaghetti. Okay. That's not done yet quite, is it? Oil's still heating. So let's get to work. And this is the best way to prepare your fried goods. A lot of people mix the eggs, milk, and flour together and then dip in that. But it really negatively impacts the flavor and makes it sour and bitter, and enhances flavors of expiration in any of the products or age, and like outlines and defines it. But you will notice the batter is thicker and sturdier. If you're concerned more about like not mudding the flavors in your palate and keeping it as simple as possible, you're better off doing eggs and milk together since they're liquids, and flours and corn meals and starches and stuff. Like you put cornstarch with this, you put cornmeal with it, you put flour with it, you put baking powder, and maybe even a little salt and pepper. I didn't implement salt and pepper because I wanted the natural salt and the garlic butter to rise out. I used HEB brand garlic butter from their fish market, which works great with steaks. It's got like a great surf and turf flavor to it when you mix it with steak. When you mix it with seafood, you can barely cancel out the inherent abhorrence of seafood flavors and stuff. So it's better to use the butter with the salt and not add salt to your recipe than to add salt to your recipe, because if you put any herbs, salt is likely to combat with them in your flavor palette and generate flavors that make you wince or squeamish or unhappy mixes and stuff. But this is a primo recipe, I think. Beef nuggets. I've never seen anyone in my entire life make beef nuggets like this, and this is maybe a world first if the airplane hadn't crashed into my head. And I'm just expecting nuclear assaults, trains to run through my living room, gravity to reverse, a fertility center of bloom population to run up, just to stop me from finishing my cooking process, because they monitor all processes, and depending on the level and complexity of the process, the higher the chance of them using a world-ending attack. So like, you may be just concerned with your own life, like thinking, oh, I just need a sandwich from the store, but since you're so old and high level, that like generates a car war on the street while you're walking to the station to pick up your drink. And you have to be conscious, like to be stronger for yourself. Pick up 2 bottles instead of 1, so you don't have to walk through the car war anymore, thereby localizing the violence at your house, which is your zone of power, and you're more likely to lose products and stuff from dangerous lights and dangerous ghosts and holograms and stuff that infest and invade your life. But the reason you cook is for HP. You're cooking for HP to get your health points up. I did it wrong. You're cooking for HP to get your health points up. So they're cooking health reducing activities to get your health points down, because our society is predicated on the desire for death, the desire to get a high score, the desire to see all possible animations and things happen, like every outcome to happen, even the futile ones. And some systems have an infinite number of possible outcomes based on their ability to repeat activities. Consider, like, if you had an egg versus if you had an egg factory. With an egg factory, you could study all the different ways an egg can be cooked or destroyed or grown into an animal. But with just an egg, you would only have one thing to see from an egg. And our society, at its root, every living being would have been granted just an egg at its youth, because of the poor value with which it would have offered society when it was young. So in terms of like creativity and knowledge of outcomes and stuff, it gets better with age. You'll find that you're wiser, you're smarter, you know how things will fall, how the dominoes will fall, how the cards will play out, because you've seen it more and you have a good sense of math and stuff. Okay. I wish cleaning didn't make me dirty, you know. Since cleaning makes me dirty, I don't enjoy my life so much. Some people don't have to worry about cleaning. They're naturally absorptive and stuff. Here's our original beef nugget. Here's a 1 in a million video. Oh goodness, that's heaven. It tastes like angel flesh. Jesus, I feel like I should be going to church to get this. Now some of these beef nuggets are getting pretty dark. That's what we're going to target for removal with our tongs. These tongs work way better than this thing for a long, slow fry, because they're more specific into what you're moving. This thing kind of swirls around and moves stuff around. Let me show you how. See how it swirls and moves everything around? That's bad for your cook. You want to cook as still as possible, with as little movement as possible. But with these, I can specifically target the brown nuggets for removal and a long cook, because it takes a long time to batter and fry these. As you can see from my video, now approaching 25 minutes, and it being the second video and not even the first video. The first video being before I chopped the beef. And set my phone on the counter and stuff so that I could get a two-handed job done. You'd want the beef nuggets to be a little darker, huh? This is like tempura sin. A tempura cook will tell you never tempura with beef. Always use chicken because your mom is chicken and you're beef. But if you don't have a mom like me, beef's the best you can do. Notice how small and delicate these pieces are. They fit one piece in your mouth, one bite at a time. That's good French cooking. French actually, if you have a big bowl of soup, that's what spoons are for. Getting the exact amount of liquid in your mouth as one bite, one swallow, that kind of thing. So if you're preparing a delicacy like this, you want it to be easily sensible with minimal interference in the natural flavors of the ingredients involved. And to some people, this meal is going to taste like life because it contains elements that are common to life. So if you have a disgusting life with rotting beef and flies and dog shit everywhere, that's what it's going to take like. But if you're like me and you work and tidy constantly and you take your time to say wonderful things and put everyone in a good mood and create loving, sharing communities and censor bad actors, then you will find that even your food tastes better. Even the breath in your lungs fills you with more love. Anyway, we're coming to the end of this video. And it looks like we had a pretty good ratio of ingredients. We didn't have anything left over in large amounts or quantities. And we got through the most point of it. The biggest part of it, yeah. Which is making these little bad boys. So if you're interested in the beef nuggets recipe, have no doubt I will not write it for you in the comments because this video is self-explanatory. This is going to have a title that says beef nuggets. So if you want to put the recipe in the metadata after downloading, don't delete my original location or me in the process. Yeah. Of course, once you're done cooking, it's always important to clean up as well as possible so that whatever leftover dough doesn't solidify in your plates and cups. So always clean before you eat. Clean before you eat, and then when you're done eating, clean your plate too. This is why I love prepackaged foods, because the process for feeding yourself is so much easier. You don't have to eat as much, you don't have to work as hard, and there's not as many plates and napkins and forks to get rid of and deal with. And everything goes easier when it's a prepackaged item like this Velveeta here. You'll notice when you start cooking for yourself, it really gives you a respect for how hard those package workers have to try. Packages are the root of civilization at this point. Everyone's just looking for their package payout, the box that will bring them happiness, because society is largely run on hedonistic ideals instead of debt value ideals, where you would only buy what would generate less debt, which is the United States had to assist because they had such trillions of dollars of debt to all their slaves. So now the slaves are inclined to stop the pyramid scheme from spreading by spending less and taking less from credit unions and banks, and slowing down the mint process for printing bills, and it leads to a large amount of high-value stock in the markets. But high-value stock, it belongs on a high-value shelf in a high-value house and not in the hands of everyone and anything. So just accept that you're not going to get every item in the game in our world, and that if you wanted to buy one of every stock available on the shelves and store it safely, not only would it be impossible, it would be prohibitively expensive. If I went to serve this, I would serve it like that, like about that many, on a plate, maybe a smaller plate so it looks bigger. You know? Yum. Yum, yum, yum. صحتين على قلبكم حبيباتي. I'm gonna finish playing these out and show you a picture afterwards. With no further ado, one plate of beef nuggets to be enjoyed with maybe some good Hawaiian music, maybe a little instrumental bluegrass and country. Perhaps a cigarette while it cools from your favorite cheap brand, and all the time in the world to think. Bye.